Have you ever wondered why, despite maintaining a proper diet, exercising regularly, and doing everything right, your legs still feel weaker than before? Why do stairs seem steeper now? Why does getting up from a chair take longer than it used to? Is this simply the natural process of aging, or could there be another hidden factor silently harming you? Here's what might surprise you. It's not always about what you're failing to do. Sometimes you're already doing something harmful without realizing just how damaging it can be. Most seniors make a silent mistake daily, and they do it with complete confidence, believing they're making the right choice, because they've been told their entire lives that fruits are healthy, natural, and beneficial. And indeed, most of them are. But here's the truth that nobody talks about. Not every fruit is appropriate for elderly individuals. In reality, some fruits, the ones we consume without question every week, can gradually weaken your legs, cause knee pain, worsen joint inflammation, and make walking more difficult. Fruits that are marketed as healthy might actually be harmful to your mobility, balance, and leg strength. As we age, our bodies undergo changes. Our circulation weakens, our metabolism slows down, and foods that once benefited us can now begin to subtly harm us, particularly certain fruits. They might look innocent. They might taste sweet. However, they contain high levels of acids, carbohydrates, and other compounds that affect blood sugar levels, trigger joint inflammation, and weaken your legs. What's the worst part? The damage is gradual, subtle, and undetectable until one day you experience sharp pain in your calves, persistent thigh discomfort, or strange tightness in your knees after just a brief walk. Today, I'm going to reveal the 7 most dangerous fruits that any senior over 60 should avoid, especially if you want to protect your legs from long-term damage, pain, and weakness. None of these fruits are as innocent as they appear. After you learn the truth, you'll never look at your fruit bowl the same way again. So stay with me until the end if you value your strength and want to maintain stable, strong, and pain-free legs. Your body might be waiting for this wake-up call. Fruit number 1. Pineapple, the silent information gatherer. Pineapple. Tropical climate, juicy, refreshing. For years, it has been praised as a natural anti-inflammatory due to a compound called bromelain. But here's the twist. While many people believe pineapple reduces inflammation, it may actually be the silent culprit for seniors. You see, pineapple contains strong acids and natural sugars, and those sugars aren't as harmless as they might seem, especially if you're over 60. Let me explain. As we age, our blood vessels become more delicate and sensitive. They no longer respond to sugar increases the same way. Despite its benefits, pineapple delivers a powerful dose of natural sugar to the blood. How does this work? It raises blood sugar levels quickly. The small blood vessels that supply your legs, feet, and muscles can suffer damage from that spike. Over time, as circulation deteriorates, less oxygen reaches your legs. And you know what that leads to? Pain, fatigue, swelling. That dull, dragging ache in your legs after a short walk. That stiffness in your knees while standing. Your ankles suddenly hurting, even if you've been sitting all day. There's more. Pineapple is acidic. Besides being sweet, that acid can cause joint irritation, especially if you already have inflammation or arthritis. It fuels the burning that already exists in your ankles, hips, and knees, like adding fuel to a fire. Some people even notice that their legs feel heavy after eating pineapple, as if their strength is gradually draining away. You also need to be aware of something else if you are taking any medications, particularly blood thinners. Bromelain, that well-known enzyme. It can interact with certain medications, making them either too strong or too weak. The most dangerous part of all, however, is this. Pineapple doesn't have any major obvious side effects. There are no clear signs or immediate pain. Instead, it works gradually until you eventually realize that you can't move like you used to. The saddest part is that most seniors don't realize that the fruit they eat for health reasons might be contributing to the annual weakness they experience in their legs. So what can you do? You don't have to hate pineapple, but you need to be aware and speak up, especially if you've been dealing with persistent leg pain or unexplained swelling. The damage is subtle but real. Fruit. Number 2. Bananas, the muscle imposter. Now, if a fruit with anti-inflammatory properties like pineapple can be this harmful for aging legs, what about the next one? It's soft, it's sweet, it's famous for boosting your muscle strength and potassium levels, but it might be deceiving you. Let's talk about bananas. Bananas, the muscle imposter. Soft, sweet, and rich in potassium. Bananas are excellent food. They're said to provide energy, prevent cramps, and benefit muscles. However, the situation is different for seniors. Bananas are abundant in natural sugar and fast-digesting carbohydrates. This means that immediately after eating, your blood sugar levels rise, and your body begins to resist insulin when this happens frequently. Circulation becomes weaker. Inflammation increases. Your legs suffer as well. As a result, you might experience dull soreness when walking or climbing stairs, heaviness in your legs after meals, and stiffness in your calves. The story doesn't end there. Bananas also make you retain more fluid, especially if you have heart problems. This results in stiff joints, swollen feet, and swollen ankles. The effect is silent. You believe they will help your muscles, so you eat them. Instead, they might be gradually depleting your strength. The worst part is that it won't hit you immediately. However, over time, eating bananas might make it more difficult to move and cause more pain. Think about the fruits on your plate. If you frequently experience heavy, aching, or swollen legs, bananas might not be as friendly as they first appear. Fruit. Number 3. Grapes. Small fruit, big inflammatory impact. What if something even smaller can cause this damage? Bananas are known for supporting muscles. But what about something small, charming, and innocent-looking that might be causing your joints to burn? Let's talk about grapes. Grapes. They look innocent, tiny, juicy, easy to eat as a snack. They also have an excellent reputation. Heart-healthy, packed with antioxidants. However, most people are unaware of this. Elderly people may experience mild leg pain, stiffness, and inflammation when they eat grapes. Why? Because grapes contain fructose, a substance that can be harmful in high concentrations, a sugar that is directly absorbed by the liver. When your liver can't handle it completely, it becomes fat and uric acid. The real damage begins then, particularly in the toes, ankles, and knees. Uric acid accumulates in the joints. It causes an intermittent burning and swelling ache, that nagging pain that makes even light walking difficult. Have you ever had that piercing pain in your big toe at night? That unexpected stiffness in your calves? It might be something as simple as a handful of grapes causing your uric acid to rise. Furthermore, it doesn't end there. Fructose also fuels chronic inflammation in your body, and this means slower movement, increased stiffness, and more pressure. Grapes are also far too easy to overindulge in. They're small enough to nibble on. They're not heavy. Before you realize it, though, you've consumed 2 or 3 cups, and the sugar quickly accumulates. Therefore, even though grapes might seem like a nutritious snack, they may subtly weaken, reduce flexibility, and make your legs less comfortable as you age. Now you know what can be hidden behind that sweetness. If you've been eating grapes regularly and have been experiencing increasing stiffness and swelling, this might be the connection you've been missing. Fruit number 4. Watermelon, the false hydrator. However, there are other sweet fruits that can be harmful besides grapes. Another one is luscious, vibrant, and renowned for its hydrating ability. Don't be fooled, though. On the inside, it functions like sugar, even though it tastes like water. Let's talk about watermelon. Watermelon, light, refreshing, a symbol of hydration and summer. Is it possible that this watery fruit is subtly damaging your legs? Sounds strange, right? Since everyone agrees that watermelon is an excellent way to stay hydrated, it feels safe, has few calories, and is mostly water. Here's the secret, though. Watermelon has an extremely high glycemic index. This means it quickly raises blood sugar levels, much like candy, and seniors suffer significant harm from those frequent sugar spikes, particularly to their legs. Let's break it down. When your blood sugar levels rise rapidly, your body releases insulin. However, insulin is poorly regulated in aging bodies. This results in inflammation, particularly in areas with inadequate circulation. Where does it show up? Your calves, your ankles, your knees. You might experience leg fatigue immediately after eating, a dull discomfort during quick walks, that strange persistent swelling around your ankles. Climbing stairs begins to feel like ascending a mountain. Watermelon has a light texture. On the inside, though, it acts like a deceptive trap, gently wearing down your legs. Most people eat a lot of it because it's juicy and refreshing. One slice becomes 2, then 3. More sugar, more stress, more inflammation. It's misleading. You think you're hydrating. Instead, your blood sugar is spiking. Your circulation is struggling. Your legs are suffering as a result. Does watermelon actually help seniors stay hydrated? Or does each bite subtly increase the discomfort of movement? It might be time to reconsider if you've noticed that watermelon affects you unpredictably and your legs have been feeling more tired lately. Fruit number 5. Oranges, the acidic joint attacker. Let's move on to a fruit associated with vitamin C and health. It's in juices, immunity-boosting drinks, and breakfast spreads everywhere. However, seniors might experience an acidic attack on their joints. Let's talk about oranges. Oranges, they're bright. They have a fresh scent. They're everywhere. Juices, health supplements, breakfast plates. They're said to boost immunity because of vitamin C. However, oranges might be hiding an unpleasant reality for seniors, particularly those over 60. Behind that citrus glow is acid that your joints dislike. Oranges are abundant in citric acid. Even though that might seem normal, it can cause silent joint irritation, especially if your body is already fighting inflammation, stiffness, or arthritis. You might experience gradual stiffness in your knees when you wake up, persistent hip pain, that uncomfortable sensation in your legs after sitting for long periods, decreased mobility, and increased swelling. You might think it's just aging. However, that healthy habit of drinking orange juice every morning might be contributing to the very pain you're trying to prevent. Here's what actually happens. Orange's citric acid has effects beyond the stomach. It enters your bloodstream and can irritate your joints' delicate tissues. Additionally, when mixed with the fruit's natural sugar, it causes blood sugar fluctuations. And what's the result? Inflammation throughout the body. Inflammation spreads to your knees, ankles, and calves, making every step feel a little heavier and more painful. You see, oranges might not be harmful to a younger person. However, in an elderly person with aging joints and slower circulation, the effect develops subtly. The most difficult part is that you're doing it believing you're helping yourself. Oranges have long been associated with wellness. However, now you know they might not be good for your health. Fruit number 6. Green apples, the secret leg pain trigger. What comes next? The following fruit has a clean appearance. Green, crisp, and lower in sugar. People believe it's the safe option. However, it hides something that can result in nighttime cramping, tight knees, and aching hips. Let's talk about green apples. Green apples appear crisp, clean, and natural. Most people, especially seniors, believe they're the healthier option because they taste less sweet. It seems like a healthy, low-sugar snack. However, most people are unaware of this. Green apples might subtly cause fatigue, stiffness, and leg pain. Two things pose a threat: malic acid and hidden natural sugar. First, let's talk about malic acid. This acid gives green apples their sour flavor. While it's fine for young people, it can be unpleasant for aging digestion. As we age, our gut lining becomes more sensitive. Once malic acid enters the body, it can irritate tissues, including joints. Some elderly people experience severe hip or thigh pain after eating apples. Others experience mild heat in their feet or tightness in their knees. It takes time to develop, but as time passes, the acid accumulates and the pain becomes more frequent. Now let's talk about the sugar. Even though green apples don't taste as sweet as red apples, they still contain natural sugars. In elderly people with slower metabolisms, that sugar causes blood sugar fluctuations. You might experience tired calves, nighttime leg cramps, morning stiffness, or weakness when climbing stairs. The most challenging aspect is that green apples are often eaten raw as a snack or even right before bed. As a result, they constantly affect the body. They appear very healthy and pure. However, for aging bodies, green apples might be subtly making it harder to walk, stiffening joints, and making evenings more restless. Fruit number 7. Mango, the joint sugar bomb. What about a tropical, rich, and extremely sweet fruit that can have this effect if something as basic as green apples can cause this? The one most beloved by many. Let's talk about the real sugar bomb. Mango. Mango. Juicy, soft, sweet like candy. Nearly everyone loves this fruit, especially during summer months. Here's the truth, though. Mango might be the most harmful fruit for elderly people with joint weakness and leg pain. Why? Because it contains enormous amounts of natural sugar. I don't mean a little either. I'm talking about a significant sugar punch that will cause your blood sugar to rise sharply and quickly. Now, if you're active and under 30, your body can often handle that rise. However, after age 60, your metabolism changes. That sugar rush causes an insulin spike and subsequent crash. Each time this happens, your body produces inflammation deep within your joints, particularly in the soft tissues around your ankles, hips, and knees. Especially if you have nerve problems, you might experience a burning sensation in your toes, persistent tingling, evening swelling around your feet, or creeping heaviness in your legs. Because mango tastes light, feels fresh, and doesn't seem like a big meal, it's easy to consume in larger portions. But this makes it worse. Here's the trick. The sensation of lightness is irrelevant to your body. It reacts to the sugar. Over time, that sugar can cause joint pain, sluggish walking, and unsteady legs. Many elderly people eat mangoes thinking they're a natural treat. And it is natural. However, natural doesn't always equal safe for aging joints and weaker circulation. The complete picture. You've now seen the whole picture. 7 fruits that, despite being praised for their health benefits, have a dark side for people over 60. Here's the good news, though. Some fruits have the opposite effect. They promote strong, sturdy legs, reduce joint pain, and fight inflammation. Let's talk about those healing alternatives and what seniors should eat instead. What you can eat instead. Now that you know which fruits to avoid, let's move on to what you can eat. Because eating the right fruits does more than just satisfy your hunger. They heal your body. First, let's talk about berries. Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries. These small fruits are powerful anti-inflammatory agents. They're low in sugar, high in antioxidants, and gentle on your blood sugar. Most importantly, they improve circulation, especially to the legs. They promote easier movement, fight stiffness, and reduce swelling. Next, cherries, but in moderation. Cherries can actually help reduce uric acid, which decreases the likelihood of gout and joint pain flare-ups. They provide relief for sore joints and that burning feeling in your knees or toes. A handful of cherries, not a bunch, can provide significant relief. Then comes avocado. Yes, it's a fruit. It's also among the best for healthy joints. Why? Because it contains plenty of healthy fats that reduce inflammation within your body and cushion your joints. It also helps regulate insulin, providing steady energy without blood sugar fluctuations. Looking for something easy to digest? Try papaya. This soft tropical fruit contains enzymes that help reduce inflammation and aid digestion. It's gentle on the stomach and easy on aging joints. Also, don't forget pears with a bit of fiber or protein. They provide subtle sweetness without being overly sweet. They give your body energy without putting undue strain on your legs. Each of these fruits supports your body instead of working against it. They don't cause discomfort. They don't make you swell. They help your body achieve the vigor, balance, and peace it seeks. Remember, it's not just about eating fruit. It's about choosing the right ones for your age. Fruits that are appropriate for your body right now. When you consciously make those choices, you begin to feel it. Firmer steps, calmer movements, clearer mornings. Final message. Let's conclude with some closing thoughts, words of wisdom, and a message specifically for you. One thing tells me that if you've read this far, you care about your health, your strength, and your future. And I want you to hear this clearly. It's not too late for you to change. You still have time to recover, and you're not alone in this. Getting older is difficult. The pain, stiffness, and fear of falling develop gradually. Sometimes they can make you feel like your body is disappearing. Here's the reality, though. You can take control by making sensible, modest changes rather than extreme measures. One meal, one fruit, one decision at a time. The fruits we discussed today aren't poison, but they might no longer be best for your health. And that's okay, because getting older doesn't mean giving up. It's about being smarter. When you start eating mindfully and choose foods that support strength, circulation, and joints, you'll notice a difference. Less discomfort, more flexibility, smoother mornings, and lighter steps. That's the point of this message. Not fear or limitation, but empowerment. I'd like to hear from you now. We all grow when we share, so let's help each other. If this information was helpful or even slightly opened your eyes, please show your support. Your engagement helps us continue sharing truths that can change your health. Before you leave, let me know. Was this information useful to you? Your feedback matters more than you realize. Stay strong and aware, and never forget. Your legs carry your independence.